Hello and welcome to Bad Analogies, where we're exploiting every loophole, dodging every obstacle, and penetrating the bureaucracy. Let's get started. My name's Alex Mishork. The human face, that's what we're going to talk about today. The sacredness of the face and why. Artificial intelligence's new annexation of the human face. And 3, we're going to talk about the dangers of that, potential dangers of that, and my thoughts. 1, the human face is, let's go all sciencey. The human face is extremely important for babies. Let's start with that. We'll get to the deeper reason in a second. Babies, even if a mother does a deadpan neutral face towards her baby, babies will go into a state of annoyance, frustration, worry, there's tension, and there's actual video footage. I was going to say there's studies out, but it's just so annoying to say that. There are studies out. There's footage of moms performing this experiment on their own children, interacting with the babies, cooing with the baby, smiling, giggling, responding to the things the baby points at. And it's very interesting to see a mom communicating with a baby that can't speak. And then the mom will go extremely neutral for like 2 minutes straight. And you see the baby go into a state of just total panic, frustration, anger. The baby goes through all the different tools in the baby's toolbox, giggling, trying to make the mom laugh, but then screaming and trying to get the mom's attention when the mom's just staring with a really neutral look. So first of all, our faces are important because obviously a huge percentage of our nonverbal communication happens through our face. Okay, so just for communication, our face is very important to us naturally. It's important for children and babies to understand their mother. This is not an episode about whether or not masks are good and bad. I think that should go without saying that a lot of people in the generation that were about 3 years old, 2 years old to 4 years old when masks were everywhere were extremely negatively impacted. I don't think we're going to really be able to know how that really, we're not going to be able to see the effects of that, I don't think, until later. That being said, the human face is not just important for communication, but there's something about the sacredness of a face, especially once God took on a face. We know that Moses saw God and he had to veil his face. His face was so radiant and so terrible, so terrifying after encountering God face to face, at least in some sense. I don't really understand what he was beholding other than, some fraction or fragment of the beatific vision on Mount Sinai, but that's not the point. Jesus, this is a Christmas episode, when Jesus became a baby, Jesus took on a face. When God became a man, he now had a human face, along with everything else. I could say the same thing about fingers and toes, and I could say the same things about shoulders and kneecaps and the importance of all of those things, hair. But the thing that I want to stress is that at one point, the only way that the second person of the Trinity, Jesus, communicated with his mother was through his childlike face. And he communicated, he also read the communication of his mother through her face. What's the logical conclusion here? Other than I have a face, you have a face, God has a face, therefore faces are united to the divine and are important. I guess that's that's the point. But here's the point that I want to make now that we've established that it's not just a body part. It's not just your toes. It's not just your fingers. Your face is linked to your identity. I mean, Apple knows this. Apple made Face ID because it's such a unique part of your body. You have thumbprints. I bet you could find a way. I bet there is technology that says every kneecap is unique, like a snowflake, and you can track it. But the point is your face is, you know how they say the eyes are the window to the soul? They don't ever say that about anything else. They don't say your elbows are the window to your soul. They don't say, your belly button is the window to your soul. We say that your eyes are the window to the soul. And windows go both ways. You can see in and you can see out. And anyone who's ever looked in the eyes of their spouse or a child, anyone who's spent time staring at someone's face, trying to figure out what it is they're thinking, maybe they're being playfully withholding, but still you scan over the person's cheeks and lips and forehead and eyebrows and their eyelids, and you're looking, because the face gives things away. This is not a novel thought, but the face gives things away. Maybe even that the heart and the mind don't want to share. And people who know each other really well, people who know each other really well, even people who don't know each other well, you have detectives who are able to read people's faces very well, and they know what a look is for lying. They know what a look is for the truth or sincerity. People who know each other really well, they know what your baseline is for your face, and they know what's not baseline, what's abnormal, what's the anomaly. Something's out of place, something's amiss. So not only is your face important or sacred because it's linked to your identity, but it also is a window. Your eyes are a window into your soul. You got to be careful what you take in, what you expose yourself to, but also your face, not just your eyes, but your whole face is kind of like the window into your soul, or the window outward, right? That your soul projects into the world. And the interesting thing about the face, like the rest of your body, but your face is just so much more data, is that it lets things out that you don't necessarily care to share. That being said, if an algorithm, an artificial intelligence, I hate saying artificial intelligence, let's say an advanced computer algorithm, an ACA, instead of this AI, I don't want to say AI, because it gives the illusion of intelligence only comes from God. Man can't create intelligence. He participates in intelligence. He has his own intellect, yes, distinct from God, but insofar as he learns the truth, right, he learns something that is true also in the mind of God. So created by God, ordered by God. That being said, if an advanced computer algorithm can track and deduce, let's say label at the very best, label and deduce your emotional state and your feelings on a given topic, or your feelings in reaction to a certain kind of stimuli, a video, something like this. This is happening at a more advanced level every single day. If an artificial intelligence or an advanced computer algorithm can deduce things from your face that you yourself wouldn't want to share with other people, and people who are less skilled in the arts of deduction than a detective would miss. Normal people would miss these things being shown in your face, but the computer doesn't miss it. Then this presents a huge opportunity for you to not only be for you to be manipulated. Because in some way, if you think about it, if you haven't actually taken inventory of how you're feeling in a certain moment, if you haven't taken inventory of what's going on in your heart spiritually or emotionally or mentally, and the computer's picking up all this stuff from your camera, then the computers can be recommending, manipulating, showing you things in your feed, recommending products to you that are all based on things that you yourself are not even fully aware of, about how you're feeling, about what you're thinking. But the thing that I want to talk about is a new development called Lensa AI. It's an application that basically you take photos of yourself. I haven't used it because from the second it came out, I said, nope, not doing that. The second it came out, it's been recommended to me by all these people that I follow, what it does is it takes a photo of you, and then it generates tons of different images, they call them avatars, images of you in different painting styles, aesthetics, contexts, abstracts, futuristic, modern, ancient, classical. It takes your photo and it simulates art with your likeness. So buried in their terms of service is the following. And this was recommended to me on my feed. I saw a video of this. Here's the quote from their user content. This is number 5 from Lensa AI's user agreement. You grant us a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable, license to use, reproduce, modify, distribute, create derivative works of your user content. Remember, your user content is your face, okay? So people who are using this app and taking photos within the app or uploading photos to the app, you might say like, well, it makes sense that the photos are on their server and so they have rights to the stuff that's on the server. Maybe. I'm not a lawyer. Are you a lawyer? Do you know what royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable, license to use, reproduce, modify, distribute, create derivative works of your user content means? I could guess it means the whole kit and caboodle. I bet if they can come up with a 3D generated avatar of your face based on the photos that you upload, they very well could just have rights to make deep fakes of your face. And maybe you say, well, why would they do that? I'm not a political leader or something. They're not going to make it. Doesn't. This is the problem. This is the problem of our time and our generation as the contracts. Someone in the media recently, I won't mention who, has made a big deal about Hollywood contracts, athletes' contracts, musicians' contracts. They don't know what's in the contracts. They don't know what sub-licensable, license to use, create derivative works of your user content. Your user content, in this instance, is your image and likeness to God. You have a face, you have a reason, and you have a will. The heart is the seat of the will, and the intellect is a spiritual power that's united to and governs your brain and your other bodily functions. Your soul, it's not that the soul dwells in the body, but that the body dwells in the soul. So what makes you like God is that you have intelligence and free will. But guess what? The second God became a baby and a man, now everything that a man has is also something that makes you like God or that you share with God. So this means, what does this mean? It means that we have to be, among other things, we have to be very judicious. We have to be very careful with what we sign our legal rights away to, or we sign legally, or we agree to legally with regard to our intellect, our will, and our body or our face. We have to be super careful about it. And I don't really hear, I would love, if you're a priest, if you're a bishop, I would love to hear you cautioning, I would love to hear people being warned about, hey, make sure you're not have you downloaded any apps recently that gives legal sovereignty over your image and likeness, your imago Dei? They're like, getting back to the point about the contracts in Hollywood, there are a lot of artists out there changing their names, covering their faces, or changing themselves in radical ways, both legally and aesthetically, so that they can get out of this kind of language and contracts, so that they can become free again, that they can make money and make creative works that are truly linked to their name. Because guess what? Their name's gone. They signed it away. Their likeness is gone. They signed it away, didn't know it. Which brings me to another point, which is Satan is a legalist. He knows every letter of the law. He knows every loophole, but he also knows every single definition, and he sticks to the definitions. When a devil tells you they're going to create, they reserve the right, if you agree, they're going to create derivative works from your user content. Trust me, there's a definition for creative derivative. And if what they're doing, whether you like it or not, falls within that legal definition, gotcha. They got you. So don't get me wrong. I mean, this conversation should have been had when Apple came out with Face ID. It should have been had when a bunch of airports and Walmart started using facial recognition software in their stores. I'm not saying that we can stop it. I mean, it's here. It's coming. China already has it. We're going to have it. But the main thing is are you explicitly consenting to it? And are they getting us to explicitly consent to it with like the most trivial things, mere trifles? Oh, I'm going to make your face into a really groovy, rainbow artwork. It probably would be rainbow artwork. I'm going to make your face into a Da Vinci style painting. The algorithm will. All you have to do is give me irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable rights to your face. There's something really weird about evil people and the devil. And that is, in some horrible way, some terrifying way, they really, really respect free will. They respect that they need your consent in order to screw you over most perfectly. That when a very unjust person is trying to get away with injustice, they will cloak themselves in legal terminology and confuse you into saying, yeah, you might not like it, but you signed on the dotted line and you agreed to it. And in that sense, free will or someone's choice or consent it's sacramentally powerful. Think about the marriage contract. The fundamental material, you need a man and a woman. The fundamental stuff of the contract of the marital union is consent. It's the I do. Everything else is terms and conditions, but the actual binding piece is consent. So it is with things that are unholy or evil. Consent is necessary. So on the positive side, this new year, this Christmas, remember that Christ took on a face, God took on a face in everything about human nature, which means that when somebody's asking us to have rights to our face or our likeness or our intellectual property or our consent, or they're asking for our consent to own those things, we need to be very, very careful, because just because we live in a free country, whatever that means, just because we live in a free country doesn't mean that we don't live in a country where there are very, very, very shrewd people who are using social and legal contracts to remove your freedoms, which are not just like, I can drive here or buy this or eat that. We're talking about like your identity. Like our identities are now the subject. They're now the roadkill on the road that the vultures are now swirling over, trying to take a piece of. As all of these technologies grow, we are becoming more and more and more, our souls are being annexed, our identities are being annexed. They're all trying to come in and take a cut from a totally new realm of potential, a whole new realm of potential capitalization. Before it was like, oh man, we can get people to spend money on our app. Then it was like, oh wow, now we can get people's thumbprints to use our app. Now we're getting people to agree to give us their image and likeness and all future potential creations that we can generate with that. You have no idea what it is that you're agreeing to. So God has a face, we have a face, and artificial intelligence is reading what those faces can say better than we can. And it's also making up fake stuff, fake art, fake scenarios. And in order to just get a cool emoji or picture for our account, people are literally signing their birthright away, their identity away, their name away. Because your face is like your body's name. I don't know, just spitballing here. It's more unique than your name. Your face is more unique than your name. Somewhere in the world, there's someone with your name. There's nobody with your face. So this is sort of a cautionary Merry Christmas, a cautionary tale. This is sort of a cautionary thing. Lensa AI, don't use it. And if you already agreed to using it, or if there's any other apps that you're considering getting for artificial intelligence, don't use your photo. Don't take photos. Don't agree to terms of service. Yeah, I think it's really bad. I think it's really bad, and I don't think that people are going to realize it's bad until it's too late. This might not be the evil thing, Lensa AI might not be the thing, but I mean, we're just being desensitized to the bad thing whenever it gets here. Everything's a trial run. Every app might start out as like some kid in a garage's genius idea, and he came up with the code himself, and he's just like, whoa, this is so dope, we can use this. And all it takes is like Bill Gates or Apple or Elon Musk to come in and buy the company for an amount of money, his little idea, for the amount of money that someone couldn't fathom and they'd be stupid to pass up on. And then guess what? Boom, that harmless little app is now being integrated into every iPhone on the planet, every Windows computer on the planet, every airport. So lest anybody say, oh, the sky, I'm saying that everything, the sky is falling and, it's not that big a deal. We'll find out. This has been Bad Analogies. We hope you enjoy the show. If you have any ideas for future shows, please leave it in the comments below, and we'll catch you on the next one.